Okay, we're again here in Richmond. We're at the corner of number 4 Road in Blundell. This is again September 1st, 2015. This issue is going to be dedicated to more or less the affordable housing crisis, where offshore investment and vacant owners and vacant landlords that just sit on properties and don't rent them out are just adding to a housing crisis here. So we're just going to look at a few examples here. So we're going to walk down this way. This house here is a classic example of what is going on here. This is literally an epidemic throughout much of Richmond and the Lower Mainland. What often happens here is a house is bought by a non-resident owner, and the house basically sits empty. What's typical of an indication of an absentee owner is the gating system here. You'll see the sliding gate. This gate is actually an open position. We won't trespass, but this is what you often see. It's almost a sure sign is a gate will be rolled across here. Now this house has not been lived in, I'm guessing 3 to 4 years. It's given the appearance of somebody home, but it's totally one of these units that a resourceful owner would get some income from, but it just basically sits empty. I've seen the for sale signs up on here, which seems to be the norm, where they are basically holding on to their property for a certain amount of time, probably trying to claim capital gains exemptions, and just basically running this thing through like a constant flip. I mean, there's been some improvements here. You often will notice this, like the gate, there'll be some cement work done. It looks like a fairly new roof, but obviously this person, the fact this house is still for sale, obviously means they're asking a high price, because it would probably in a normal market sold, demolished, and another bigger empty house sold. But again, my point is, the house has not been rented, it's just sitting there empty, and they're going through the motions of ownership, but not much more. So the only beneficiaries of this are the city and the tax revenue, maybe a bit of the hydro, but of course they do not support local businesses, and there's one less house that could provide housing to somebody in need. So we'll move around the corner again. And this is, while we're here, I'll just mention this phenomenon, which is just totally amazes me. These sort of daycares are just popping up all over the place. I cannot go through a block, a subdivision, a mall, without some sort of a daycare sort of setup. Like this is the Montessori, but I don't understand where the children are coming from. You rarely see them, but obviously these are making some money, because they seem to be been in business for a fair bit of time. But you can obviously see from the writing on the wall that they're catering to a certain ethnic market, and this is again the problem we are facing here with the logistics and the demographics. Okay, so let's go check out some other houses. Okay, we're going to be approaching another property, set of houses here that are, again, more indicative of the problem that is just rampant. And I'm not talking about just Richmond. I mean, Vancouver is a war zone. There's many war zones like this. Now, we'll observe the owner of this property has taken down what was probably a metal temporary fencing, and you can see they put a cedar fence all the way around the property. For whatever reason, I don't know. However, you can see this house here, boarded up, secured. Looks like I'm sure it was a very nice house, probably still a livable house, but this is a phenomenon you're seeing all over. Is these houses either sit empty, and if they're vacant too long, they become boarded up and just sit there, and again, add to the affordable housing crisis. Next house over here as well. See another house. I've actually was in that house once. Cute little house, probably more of a pioneer house still. I'm sure at the time, and it probably would still be livable, but again, you can see what's happened. It's been boarded up and secured, and is of no use other than acting as a tax base for local government, but not fulfilling any sort of duty or obligation to become some part of the affordable housing inventory. Mm-hmm. Over there is another house. This is kind of an anomaly of a property, more of a, like I say, a pioneer place. But again, that, believe it or not, was a house that did provide some sort of housing for the party that used to live there. It's kind of like obviously gone kind of downhill. But again, what we're seeing is this phenomenon of like what the hell is going on here? I mean, people are parking their money here. It's not producing anything. They're not getting any rent. So what is the issue here? Is this illegal money? Is this...
Gosh, 3 in a row, too.
Yeah, 3 in a row. I mean, I could
show you much... It's an eyesore.
Yeah.
It looks terrible.
Exactly.
Looks like poverty.
But again, you know, how can somebody park... I'm going to guess the estimated value of these properties has got to be $2+ million all combined. What normal person could afford to sit on $2 million worth of real estate for this long? I mean, they put this hokey fence up there for what purpose?
How long do you think this has been here, these houses?
These houses?
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably, that one over there is probably from the 60s. Yeah. This one's probably from the 30s as well as that. This is probably an old pioneer farmhouse when they had a lot of blueberry farms in the area.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How long have they been boarded up, though? How many years?
These have been vacant. That's been vacant for probably 5 years.
Oh.
And these two in the last 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, like what is going on? What are the normal economics? If I had owned these properties, I would either rent them out or redevelop them by now. But what is going on here? That's the question. How can this is not a normal economy, meaning it's got to be an abnormal economy, which usually implies some sort of criminal element.
Yeah. So foreign influence.
Yeah. So this is basically the selling out of Canada, and again, who gains? Certainly not the average person, who's always being pushed further behind the 8 ball. So that's all I'm going to say about this one. But in future videos, I'm going to be showing much more examples. This is no exception here. This is part of the norm. We just had 3 properties together here, but there's much more of this throughout Richmond. And I think people are fed up with it. So we'll conclude this discussion, but it's going to be we'll be definitely expanding it much further in the future.